just really like spending time with you. Wow.
This is about to be both the happiest and saddest night of his life.
I think Heather will be eating breakfast standing up this morning, if you know what I mean.
I don't. Chris Griffin's wildest moments on Family Guy. Feel free to pop some popcorn, take up a seat on the couch, take off your pants if you're a female, and let's get right on inside of this.
These are 10 of Chris Griffin's wildest moments, starting with the episode where Chris traveled back in time and nearly died on the Titanic. So Principal Shepard informs Peter and Lois that Chris isn't doing very well in school.
Word?
Right now he has a D- average. His only hope is his history final tomorrow.
But luckily, he has a good dad like Peter to help him study. After all, Peter's pretty smart. He knows a lot about... he remembers... Oh yeah, Chris is screwed.
Now I'm gonna help you study by nailing your door shut. That way you'll have no choice but to hit the books.
I see where you're coming from, Peter, but you left one big distraction in that room.
Dad, it looks like some girl sent you a picture of her privates.
Oh crap, Lois, I don't have the phone! Stop sending pictures!
Well, the goal was to help Chris out with his memory, but now all he's probably gonna want to do is forget.
Wait a minute, that's both her hands! Who the hell is taking the pictures?
This family can't go one day without scarring each other, can they?
You guys,
No.
I've been at this all night and I haven't learned a thing.
Don't worry, Chris. The house's resident genius and resident fake genius are here to help you.
Who said we have nothing to fear but fear itself?
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, we don't exactly need Scooby-Doo in the gang to solve the mystery that Chris is an idiot.
Maybe there's a way to actually show Chris history with my time machine.
Oh yeah, that thing never malfunctions. Good plan. So the first stop on their journey is Washington, D.C. in 1803.
Ah, the future.
This is gonna be a long night, isn't it? Their travels also take them back to the horrific event that was D-Day, along with the
Oh.
slightly better but often forgotten Double D-Day.
Ooh, shit. There it is.
Is that
Yep.
in poor taste? Who knows?
No,
We're just
it's
along for
not.
a ride.
It's great
After seeing
taste.
more pivotal moments in history, Stewie decided
There's no better taste than the taste of titty. You know, I remember this one time back when, damn, that's a rough start. That's a rough start for a story. I'll give you that. That's a rough start. Goddamn, shit.
He's right about that, by the way. So he wasn't paying any attention. Don't you know how expensive time travel is? It's cost them like 3 Amazon rainforests to do this.
Damn it, Chris, your problem isn't book learning, it's that you're a moron. This whole trip has been a complete waste of time.
And that just about breaks
My
the
bad.
little idiot's heart.
Whenever
He
you
runs
guys
off
super
crying,
chat, I just start
eventually
telling
making his way
stories.
aboard an iconic ocean liner.
If I'm such a
not even on
moron, then how
purpose.
did I get on a fancy boat?
Out of all the ships in history to get on, you may have picked the worst one.
Oh.
Well, except for that similarly named Ocean Gate submarine. Maybe it's time to stop naming things with the word Titan in it. So Brian and Stewie sneak aboard and manage to find Chris.
We've got to get off this boat. The Titanic was one of the biggest disasters in history.
But before they can teleport home, the ship crashes into that iconic iceberg 3 days ahead of schedule. Look, I know Chris is supposed to be learning history, but sometimes you just gotta say screw history for the plot.
Damn, the return pad, it's been destroyed.
Of course it is. Hope there's a big bag of rice on the ship. So
Oh,
the
no.
trio dress up like women and try to make it onto a lifeboat. Well, Stewie's probably doing it for other reasons, and this is just a happy coincidence.
Hello there, sir. We are 3 noble women in distress.
Sorry, boat's full.
Thankfully, Chris is able to use all he's learned on this trip to get them a boat.
Get out of my way, you son of a bitch!
Whoa.
Okay, maybe not. But
Damn,
he does
bitch.
manage to get the 3 of them on board.
You may not be book smart or history smart, but you're throw people off the boat smart.
I didn't even know that was a type of smart. That may not help him with his test, but that does get rid of his history teacher since that guy he killed was his ancestor.
Hey everybody, I'm Teacher Doug, and I don't believe in tests.
Yay!
See? You can get quite far in life by throwing people off of boats, but you won't learn in public school. But Chris needed to learn another lesson, this time about relationships after his adult video obsession made him disinterested in real girls. So out at the mall with Brian and Stewie, Chris is approached by a girl from his class.
I wanted to know if you're gonna go to the dance on Friday.
Nah, probably not.
Wow, Chris is given the ultimate bait and he's not even given it a nibble. Somehow he's both smarter and just as dumb as the average fish.
Well, if you change
Hey, what's
your
up,
mind...
Aaron
I said
Sheridan?
no!
Okay, jeez.
Understandably, Brian and Stewie are very confused.
That very attractive girl just asked you out and you said no.
Well, sorry, Brian. She just doesn't do it for me.
But she has hair, eyes, a mouth, legs, arms, hands, and feet. What more could you be looking for?
Why wouldn't he go out with that girl?
Who knows, maybe he's gay.
Well, that may complicate things, seeing as how Stewie has that market cornered in this family. But they decide to get to the bottom of things and find out the real reason he rejected her.
Brian and I are taking a survey, and we wanted to see if you had a few minutes.
First question.
Why are you gay?
Whoops, wrong clip.
Chris, are you gay?
What? No, I'm not gay.
Well, then why didn't you go out with that girl?
Because Chris has everything he could want right on his computer.
You have 28 windows of porn playing simultaneously?
Yep, and it somehow gives him the same levels of dopamine as being in a relationship would. He might be too far down the rabbit hole to pull back up.
You're so desensitized by all this porn, you're not even interested in actual girls.
So Brian and Stewie are going to teach him all about having a love life. Look, if you're getting relationship advice from a dog and a baby, there might not be much hope left for you.
It's going to take a few steps to get you off hardcore porn.
Shit.
The first step is softcore porn, where nothing really happens.
Ah, yes, the stuff you'd find back in the day at 2 a.m. on a channel you didn't even know existed.
Showtime.
Growing up with the TV in your room used to be like living in the Wild West. No, not that Wild West. But next, Brian tries to take it back another step.
So here's a stack of water-stained Playboys that I found in a locker at the town pool bathroom.
Neat, just think of all the generations of mildew and human DNA that are living on those.
For
I
real.
don't think Chris grasped the concept of magazines.
Wait, I'm clicking on this thumbnail, but the video isn't opening.
I swear I've seen a Boomer comic with this exact punchline. Next, they tried the
I've
lingerie
never seen
department
any
to
of
get
this.
Chris's imagination going.
I guess the one without a head is pretty cool.
All right, that's something.
Yeah, something you might want to let the FBI know about.
Sounds like someone is ready for that date.
So they get him all cleaned up and ready to put his new lifestyle to the
That's
test
what's
on
up,
a date
Aaron
with the girl from
Sheridan.
earlier.
And for sure, this is a real date, and me and the popular kids aren't gonna thrill kill you tonight.
Well, that's a
Aw.
relief. But just to be safe,
Yeah,
let me
life is
Google
good,
thrill
classy
kill
muffin.
real quick.
For real, for real.
Oh, that's bad. Well, like she said, it's definitely not going to be that. Oh, well, that could be any teen. But hey, at least Chris got over his addiction so that he can die with dignity. But there isn't a ton of dignity in working for Quagmire, which is what Chris learned when he became the
I feel like
Q-Man's
there's
personal
dignity
assistant.
working with
So Chris is
Quagmire.
in need of some money for a very important purchase.
What did he need the money
can
for?
I have $50 for a shamrock tattoo? It's time.
The hell
Aw,
is
they grow up
Shamrock?
so fast. Every parent can't wait for their child to make their first permanent mistake.
If Chris wants money for something, maybe it's time he got a part-time job.
Well, nobody reads newspapers anymore, and working at a gas station doesn't pull in the big bucks, so it looks like finding another job will be harder than he thought.
A lot of people seem to be turned off by my dishonorable discharge.
What, from the Army?
That would be a whole lot less gross
No,
than what
from
Chris
his
actually
balls.
means. And so none of you watching this while eating lose your appetite, I'm moving on. But maybe Chris needs to work for someone equally as gross.
I'm just so busy, I don't have any time to organize my own life.
And there's no one better equipped to help one degenerate than another degenerate.
Chris is looking for work. Maybe he can help you out, be your assistant.
So Quagmire fills him in on all the duties he'll need to perform.
The first thing I need you to do every morning is punch me in the stomach because I'm a bad person.
Don't
No.
have to tell Chris twice.
You punch me, I'll punch you back.
Chris should feel proud he gets to work with his hands for his money. Where do I sign up? But Chris also takes a more administrative role for Quagmire's exploits.
Mr. Quagmire can fit in you at 3 o'clock a week from Thursday.
That works.
And you know to fast the night before?
Yep.
Wow, who knew casual hookups could be so professional?
You know, you're doing a great job, Chris. Why don't you jerk the rest of the day off?
Once again, you do not have to tell Chris twice. But unfortunately for everyone else, Chris has a habit of bringing his work home with him.
Oh my God, Peter, our dishwasher is full of sex toys.
Oh yeah, Chris put those in there.
I thought it was
Physical labor,
pregnant.
administrative
I thought
duties,
the
and
inside of the
janitorial
dishwasher
work? Chris might just be
had
learning more skills for the real world here than he does in
children in it.
That's it. I'm calling Quagmire right now and putting an end to this.
But it goes straight to voicemail. What can they say? They're two very busy boys with very active lifestyles.
To schedule a liaison, press 1.
Considering Lois's history of cheating, I'm honestly surprised we didn't see her make a dive for that #1 button.
If you're calling to report a pregnancy, please fill out our online form and we will mail you a check for $180.
Oh.
Yep, that'll do it. Enough is enough. Get
I'll
your
take
kid under
$180.
control before we have to see her here anymore. Thank you. So to get him to quit, she bribes Chris with $1,100 in a paint can, which surprisingly works. I guess that should be enough to cover the therapy for whatever lasting mental scars this job caused. Sounds like a win to me. And Chris earned himself another win when he managed to befriend the evil monkey in his closet and used him as a father figure to replace Peter. So Chris's grades are slipping
Hey,
thanks
what's
to
up,
being
Aaron
constantly
Sheridan?
harassed by the evil monkey.
Every
For
time
real,
I try to
for
study,
real.
the evil monkey comes out of my closet and scares me.
But no one believes Chris about the monkey. With everything this family has seen over the years, I'm surprised a monkey with a bad attitude is where they draw their line on what's real or not.
He's not real.
He is too real. I can prove it.
So Chris decides to hatch a plan to catch the evil monkey in action.
I set up a video camera last night so I can prove to Mom and Dad that the evil monkey is real, and I want to see what I got.
But all he captures is Peter and Quagmire pranking him, Lois stealing his money, and Herbert painting a tasteful picture.
Oh boy.
Nothing.
Nothing? You'd give that tape to the police and solve at least a few of your problems. So Chris decides to take the Looney Tunes approach by luring him out with monkey seed, the iconic favorite food of a monkey.
Monkey seed? Yo, that's
I
wild.
got you bastard.
Time to read it and weep, you
Bastard.
dum-dums.
Holy crap!
It is real.
Oh my god! I thought I was the only one!
Yeah, nobody cares about that, Meg. This is a Chris storyline.
Holy crap, Chris, is that thing dangerous?
Yes, he's evil.
I'm not really evil.
It talks? Well, looks like you got some explaining to do, monkey.
I got home from work one day and found my wife cheating on me with another monkey.
And
So he became depressed, lost the house, and ended up moving into Chris's closet.
Damn.
So what you're saying is you're like 9 years behind on the rent you should owe.
You're not evil at all, are you?
No, he's not. He's just a poor fellow who's down on his luck.
he's the poor fellow who... Oh, I'm not gonna say that.
Okay, but you do have to be some kind of weirdo to live in a child's closet and constantly throw glares at him.
That's just the face I make when I'm thinking.
And you're always pointing at me.
I was trying to start a conversation.
You know what's a pretty good tool for talking? Words. Kinda like what you're doing now.
You can fool everyone else, but you can't fool me. You go to hell.
To make it up to Chris, the monkey decides to do him a solid and writes his school assignments for him.
Mom, Dad, I got an A on my book report.
Looks like having a wild, flea-ridden,
that's
disease-carrying
fire.
animal in your house can. So Chris and the monkey become fast friends, playing catch, scaring Meg out the window, as well as killing and eating Aquaman. I wish I had a friend I could eat a superhero with.
Hey, where you guys been?
We went to the father-son barbecue.
This is exactly
they had
what
a
every father
father-son
dreads
barbecue?
hearing, that their child has
Man.
replaced them with a monkey.
You never want to do anything with me, but the monkey's been taking me to all the fun places I like.
He's got a point. Peter's
then you
ignored
should
Chris
date
this
him
whole
then.
episode, so his anger at the monkey is a bit misplaced.
You are the worst dad in the world, and I hate you!
Yeah, well, get out of my house.
I hate you
You're
too.
fired.
So the monkey decides to step in to remind the father and son that they love one another.
Peter, do you think you could make a little more time for your son?
Yeah,
No.
I guess so.
But their reconciliation is interrupted by, and bear with me because this is going to sound like a
snap.
fever dream, a rampaging
feels like it
Miley
was
Cyrus
later
who's
than it
actually
is.
a robot that takes the monkey hostage up a
feels
skyscraper
like it
and
was
eventually
like-
gets
it
shot down by
feels
Peter
like
and
it's
Quagmire
like
in a biplane.
5 a.m. in the morning, bro. I swear to
Look,
God.
I could explain the hows and whys and whos, but I don't got all day.
But I know.
Getting along again? My work here is done. Guess I'll be moving on now.
And like a guardian angel, the monkey moves on to his next closet to try and help mend another father and son relationship.
Dad, there's an evil monkey in my closet!
I don't care, son. I just do not care.
Oof, this might take another 9 years. But Chris didn't have that much time to become the man of the house for Thanksgiving, as he eventually cracked under the pressure and got sloppy drunk. So Thanksgiving's in
Never
jeopardy
get
because
sloppy
somebody
drunk,
ate all the
man.
turkey.
Brian and I got drunk and ate the turkey. But before you get mad, we also ate the salad.
Well, if you're gonna ruin
Okay.
the holidays, you should at least be
Makes it
healthy while
better.
you're doing it. I'm sure the salad totally negates the 50 beers you drank. So Peter and Brian go out to find another turkey, but Lois is getting worried.
I can't host this Thanksgiving dinner on my own.
Hear that? This thing's all on you.
By the ancient order of Thanksgiving, the next eldest son shall assume the title of man of the house in his father's
Hey,
absence.
what's up,
I
Aaron?
sentence you to death!
That's
What
the holiday
it is,
spirit.
bro.
But Stewie explains that with Peter
What's
gone, Chris will need to
up?
play the role of host, which includes jobs like greeting guests and giving a toast.
Yo, John
Boy,
Thompson, where you
yesterday
from?
I'm microwaving a cat, today I'm
Griffin.
giving a speech.
Look, the sweaty clam of several videos ago would have made a joke at the cat's expense here, but I am a changed clam. I've done some growing up, plus I read all your comments, and I realize these cute little guys don't need all my hate. We may not be best friends yet, but they're not Satan spawn. Anyway, Stewie gets him looking like a politician on an election campaign and sends Chris to greet the guests.
Hi, Grandma. I got some down there hair now. Wanna see?
Well,
what?
that line is definitely a conversation starter, but it's also a conversation ender.
Sometimes I pluck them because I deserve pain.
Bitch.
Perfect. No notes. You're ready to run for city council now. But since there's still
You
no
gotta
turkey,
fight him.
people start to get a little antsy.
God, look at my mom. Dinner should have been served half an hour ago. She's clearly stalling for time.
You're wasting your time, Meg. Roberta hasn't said a single line since Cleveland moved back to Quahog.
All right, Chris, this is where you as host need to step in and... Chris?
But Chris has already graduated to the next level of man of the house, the sloppy drunk level.
I couldn't handle the pressure, Stewie. We Irish? We have a deep sadness.
With the guests fed up and expecting a meal, Stewie steps in to give a toast.
Well, obviously Peter's not
Yeah.
here, so it's fallen to me to take up the mantle.
But if we're going by established Family Guy rules, he should just sound like Goo Goos and Gagas to everyone there, except maybe Quagmire. I think he understood him when they were in Paris. I don't know, they kind of just do whatever they want at this point.
Lois, we're home and Thanksgiving is saved.
Well, they did bring back a turkey. It's just too bad it's a live one. But what the heck, it's the holidays. Let him be the newest member of the... Oh, God!
The man of the house killed a turkey for Thanksgiving.
You sure did, champ. So now all these psychos can laugh their way into a happy ending.
4 years later, me and Lois divorced and Stewie died. Gobble, gobble.
And a gobble gobble to you as well. Thanks for the disturbing Thanksgiving visuals. But what's really disturbing is Chris's choice of women, especially the time when he decided to date Lois's lookalike. So Chris returns from school with some great news.
I met a girl, Mom.
That's wonderful, honey.
Well, come on, stud. What's she like? Spit it out.
She's really nice and super pretty, and her bicycle seat smells like strawberries.
Well, those are the 3 most important things in a good partner. Looks like he's found a keeper. And Chris manages to seal the deal, making her his girlfriend.
Remember that girl Lindsay I told you about? Well, I asked her out, and now we are dating.
What the... Huh?
Look at you. Do you even realize who you look like? Cameron Diaz, that's who.
Is she seeing the same girl we're seeing? Not saying she isn't pretty, but I feel like complimenting her is actually a compliment for Lois.
It's almost like he's dating Lois.
Yeah, looks like somebody's getting a little Oedipusy.
Can we say that?
Just did.
To make a long story short, Oedipus was a Greek hero who was very close with his mother. Close as in he married her. He even has his own psychological complex named after him, and you either need to be a genius or a huge freak to get one of those.
You know, Lindsay, I just want to say how nice it is to have such a beautiful young woman in our home.
Yeah, it's probably been a few decades since they've been able to say that. Sorry, Meg.
Lois, don't you think maybe part of the reason you like Lindsay could be because she looks so much like you?
But Lois doesn't see it. I mean, we know her eyesight's going because she does hit a kid with her car in a later season.
You're jealous. Chris has a wonderful young woman in his life, and you've got nothing.
I mean, 2 things can be true at the same time. Brian could have a point, but you'd be out of your mind if you think he wouldn't want a younger Lois to call his own. And Lois can't wait to gush about her son's new hot girlfriend.
You know, everyone said don't smoke during your pregnancy, but I think some of it rubbed off on him because now he's cool.
It's true. I heard Chris came out of the womb wearing a leather jacket.
Oh my God.
So, not only does she look like Lois, but she's an adulterer like her too. After Bonnie shares the sentiment that they both look alike, Lois decides to break the news to Chris.
I saw her making out with another boy.
Was she kissing with her mouth or her pants mouth?
Would you feel differently about one or the other? But Chris actually knows she's unfaithful and dated her anyway because he thought she'd be like Lois.
I just look at you and Dad, you know? He's a complete train wreck, and you put up with him.
And Chris feels like a train wreck himself, so he needs someone like his mom.
So I guess I figured if I don't find a girl just like you, I might never find anyone.
I guess that's sweet,
weird.
but still very creepy. Yeah, she looks like Lois, but the things you most admire about your mom come from a deeper place. I'd like to think Chris's attraction doesn't go any deeper than that, but I have my doubts. But Chris had another weird attraction, this time to a life-size doll he created, which actually made Lois jealous.
That's some weirdo type shit.
So the guys have started a neighborhood detective agency to help with child-related crimes. Not kidnapping or trafficking, but the cool stuff like finding a missing soccer ball.
Just this morning, we've had multiple reports of stolen items.
Luckily, Quagmire has a lead on the crimes thanks to a nanny cam, which he must have forgot everything.
Come on, let's do it on your son's tiny bed. Hurry, he gets home at 3.
Well, what's done is done. Just please tell me you remembered to wash those bed sheets.
And there we go. Our thief.
And it looks like Chris has inherited his mother's kleptomania. But why would he steal all this stuff? Nothing 4 adults with too much time on their hands can't solve. So they snoop around his room and make a startling discovery.
See, there's nothing here. Just a weird life-size lady doll made out of all the stuff that got stolen.
Yeah, I mean, what teen doesn't have one of those?
Don't hurt Heather! Don't hurt my girlfriend!
What the hell?
Throwing around the girlfriend label already? Dang, their relationship must be serious.
Maybe it's our fault Chris has such a screwed up idea about what a relationship is.
That's a fair point. I'm not even sure if you guys actually like each other.
That's wild.
I bet that doll will treat him better than either of you treat yourselves.
Your mother wanted me to talk to you. She doesn't think it's healthy for you to be spending all your time with a homemade sex doll.
Peter, Heather is right there. Show her a little respect, yeah?
Heather hasn't even let me get to second base.
See, now that's a lady. But later that night, Chris's prayers are answered.
I just really like spending time with you. Wow.
This is about to be both the happiest and saddest night of his life.
I think Heather will be eating breakfast standing up this morning, if you know what I mean.
I
No,
don't.
I do not.
We don't.
So LOIS is mad at
Huh?
Peter for not handling this, but he thinks Chris will be fine now that he got what he wanted. So there's nothing to... Ew, I just got what he meant. Gross. So LOIS and Peter end up in a bit of a spat, but things might be brightening up.
You're such a sweetheart.
Read the card.
To Heather from Chris.
Whoopsie. Looks like Chris treats that hunk of junk better than Peter treats LOIS.
Chris, when you go on your picnic tomorrow, can your father and I come with you?
I think she's starting to realize that her desire for a better marriage is much greater than her desire to knock Chris out of his delusions, so she's willing to try anything to get Peter to clue in. But when LOIS continues to see how well Chris treats Heather, she snaps. If she can't be happy with a real husband, Chris can't be happy with a fake girlfriend.
Heather's gone!
No one has seen her, and LOIS thinks this is a good opportunity for him to start dating something with a heartbeat. But we know who's
That's
behind this,
messed
and I'm
up.
not convinced that they have a heart either.
Why don't you come
I cannot believe, like...
I've got something to show you.
So LOIS and Chris head into the woods to dig up a shallow grave. Ah, the things we do to bond with our parents.
Heather! Oh my god!
I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah, good thing you used...
Hey, yo, shout out to Mr. Rogaroo and the Mask King Shaggy Rogers, bruh. You guys are my top donators this entire stream, bruh. Appreciate y'all.
that knife to make sure she was really dead.
I just want you to know, if you ever treat a real woman the way you treat that doll,
That's for real, Aaron Beard.
So all it took was a
They
little
really
murder
are
to make
bad
Chris
parents.
realize he has what it takes to find a girlfriend. Now there's only one thing left to do.
Give me that knife. I gotta cut out the baby.
Oh my god!
It's made of Skittles.
Is it disturbing? Absolutely. But what would be more disturbing would be letting a perfectly good bundle of Skittles go to waste. But what's
real.
even more disturbing is Chris and Meg making out on Halloween and realizing that it probably wasn't their first time. So it's Halloween, and Chris's choice of costume is, well, certainly a choice.
You can't go out dressed like that.
Why not? I'm Bill Cosby.
While that may be true, it's just a bad call. I mean, you'd also have to be able to do a good impression. Oh, that was actually kind of good. Maybe you can... No, it's still not a good idea. There's only one predator you're allowed to dress up as on Halloween, and that's Freddy Krueger. Oh, and I guess the actual predator.
You can't just walk around in blackface. It's racist. Now go upstairs and put on that
Very
Indian costume I
racist,
bought you.
sir.
Oh yeah, much better, Lois. Thank God we've got someone like you out here saving the day. Meanwhile, Meg has some Halloween plans of her own.
I'm going to my first big high school Halloween party.
Oh, that's nice. What are you dressed as?
I'm a sweaty cat.
Well, it's better than Chris's racist caricatures, at least.
Nah.
So Meg and her friends make it to the party, and they've only got one thing on their minds.
Do you think we'll get to make out? These things always end up in makeout sessions.
Yeah, but people aren't just gonna want to kiss you now because it's a holiday. This isn't Valentine's Day, or New Year's, or Election Day.
If we wear our masks and we don't take them off for the whole party, the boys won't know who we are.
Yeah, I get your reasoning, but I don't think a little paper mask can disguise your voice and body build.
Ugly bitches!
Oh.
Harsh, but to be fair, Peter would definitely
Get
yell
out the
that at Meg
way.
regardless of her being in a costume or not. So inside the party, there's a little spin the bottle action going
Hey,
on.
you're
Okay,
smoking?
your turn to spin the bottle,
C
guy,
brand?
just like Bill Clinton.
What are you smoking?
Yeah, dressed like.
Basically how it works is you spin the bottle and you take whoever it lands on into the closet for 7 minutes. I presume you have a nice chat, share some tea, maybe discuss recent events. There aren't exactly many high school parties in the ocean, so I'm just swinging here.
All right, Slutty Cat and Optimus Prime, into the closet.
Closet, make out, Meg is in disguise.
Oh my God.
See, if you just had a nice chat and some tea, none of this would have happened.
Oh my god, what are you doing here?
Trying to grab some
From your sister?
Alright, calm down, it's not that bad.
We're disgusting! We're a disgrace to our family!
Okay, it is that bad. But the two are definitely overselling it because they got caught. This isn't the only time they've done stuff like this. What, you want me to name the other times? Alright,
Yes.
here you go, you sick freaks.
Oh,
Meg
yes.
mentions it in the episode Hannah Banana.
Hey, Chris, you want to practice kissing again?
They
Oh.
apparently bathe together as shown in Fresh Air,
Chris, our bath is ready.
which means Peter is at least a little aware of this.
I don't have the parenting skills necessary to deal with this.
And their temporary nanny catches them right before they go too far in Nanny Goats.
No kissing, under bed.
So yeah, I wouldn't say they're disgusted.
Oh.
I think they're just mad they got caught. The sickos.
I didn't know none of
But what
this.
might have been even more gross was the time Chris's pimple came to life, convincing him to commit crimes and terrorize his family. So one morning, Chris comes to breakfast sporting a new pimple.
Good morning, Chris. Oh
Yeah,
my
that is
God,
pretty
look at the size
awkward.
of that pimple. You're like a circus
Oh,
freak.
that's what's up,
Thank you for being delicate with a teenager's fragile
what's up, C. Brand
self-esteem,
Spickerman.
Lois. Lois says they can get rid of it, but Chris has grown fond of the little bump. Weirdly fond.
I don't want to get rid of my zit. I like him. He's my friend. His name is Doug.
There are some acceptable parts of the body to give names to, but a pimple
Nerd.
is not one of
Yeah,
them.
pimple ain't
And
one of
no,
them.
I won't explain which parts are acceptable. That's for you to figure out. But Doug isn't just any ordinary pimple.
Feed me.
Feed me.
Not only that, but it looks like the little devil on Chris's shoulder is actually on his face.
And we're gonna raise
Yeah,
some hell.
never
All
love
right,
your sibling
raise
in the
some
closet.
hell.
That's
I don't
real.
know about raising hell, but judging by Herbert's expression, something is certainly being raised. Look, sometimes you see an easy layup and you just gotta take it.
Peter, I'm getting a little worried about Chris. All he does lately is sit alone in his room talking to that zit.
I'd see this as a little victory, Lois. There are plenty of worse things a teen boy could be doing in his room alone. But it
Way
turns out
worse.
that zit may actually be a bad influence.
Is that duty?
He even has Chris making some very timely graffiti.
You were right, Doug. Mischief is fun.
I wonder if there's any
Chris and
real-world
Max to be
correlation
grounded,
between
yeah,
having
for
bad
trying to
skin and
smash
committing
each other.
crimes. Family Guy might have been onto something.
real,
there.
for real.
Lois catches him returning after his crime spree.
All my
Doug
exes
told me
had
I
names
don't need
for
to
it.
listen to you.
That's funny,
Doug,
impish.
your pimple?
You just don't get the bond between a boy and his pimple, Lois. It's a deep connection you'll never understand.
She's trying to drive us apart. We can't let that happen.
But things get even worse when Goldman's pharmacy is vandalized.
I thought you were one of those criminals who broke in and destroyed my entire stock of acne medication.
Either there's a new anti-medicine Facebook mom group I don't know about, or this has Chris and Doug written all over it. Oh,
Pretty
those
much.
little rascals. Things finally come to a head when Brian brings his date over.
No, Doug, I will not lift up her shirt.
Chris, we have company.
Don't let the intrusive thoughts win, Chris, no matter how funny they are.
There, are you happy, Doug?
But Joe is here to end Chris's reign of terror.
Peter, Lois, we have proof that it was Chris who vandalized Goldman's pharmacy.
You want to avoid making your mother
No.
cry? Just wash your face, guys.
I don't think you're a very good friend. I'm not gonna listen to you anymore.
But Doug has already made his way into Chris's brain, which means he can do this.
Ow, okay,
Damn.
I'll listen.
This does make me wonder if Doug is actually alive or if Chris is just experiencing psychosis. Maybe I'll make a 2-hour-long video obsessing over this very minor thing like a true YouTuber. But Chris looks to rid himself of Doug once and for all.
Doctor, I need you to get rid of this zit.
You traitor!
But this whitehead has a black heart and he's packing.
Two can play at that game.
This Zit is a
Damn.
psycho, willing to take Chris down with him. Luckily, Chris gives Doug the jab before he pulls the trigger, with whatever invisible fingers Doug has. My Chris psychosis theory is growing stronger and stronger the longer this video goes on. Chris
Damn.
certainly has some weird teenage quirks, though a killer pimple is definitely a bit extreme. But Chris wasn't afraid to take it to the extreme when he chemically neutered himself so people wouldn't view him as a creep. So Peter's complaining about his phone being broken.
No, I took it in the shower because I didn't know you could pause a game. Here, Chris, your first cell phone.
How thoughtful, Peter. You've given him something with about as much use as used toilet paper. At least that would have been a more personal gift.
You know, Chris, you could probably salvage that phone. If you put it in a bag of uncooked rice, it'll dry out.
In that case, maybe give it a good scrub down too. I mean, Peter was using it in the bathroom. While at school, Chris gets a little tip on how to pick up girls from the resident Romeo, Neil.
No one talks to each other anymore. If you want to get a girl's attention, you text her a picture of your penis.
Sounds foolproof to me. It will get the girl's attention, as well as the attention of law enforcers.
It appears Chris sent an inappropriate photo of himself to one of his classmates.
That's right. He texted a picture of his...
Don't laugh, that's the scientific term.
Okay, I can see everybody's mad, but what'd you think?
If you're asking for a rating from your parents, your principal, and a police officer, there may be no saving you.
That's
sorry,
wild.
but this makes Chris a sex offender.
Yeah, that checks out. But don't worry, at least he's got a friend in this club.
The law says that as a sex offender, you have to complete a rehabilitation course.
Oh, that sounds awful.
And who better to teach a rehabilitation course than Glenn
Quagmire.
Quagmire? I'll tell you who. Literally anyone.
And statistically, you will all be here again, because this has never worked in the history of doing this.
Fantastic. That kind of positivity is sure to turn Chris around. However, there is a second option.
Well, the law does give you a choice, this or chemical castration.
So either attend a little class or take pills to make you never think of anything naughty ever again.
Oh,
Gosh,
hell
it's
no.
it's such a hard through with the class and even graduates.
There he is. Mr. Former Sex Offender.
It's weird, but being labeled a former offender honestly sounds just as bad as just being labeled an offender. That proves to be true because no one wants to be around Chris.
I'm sorry, Chris, but you're just gonna have to accept that from now on, people are gonna see you as a sex-crazed pervert.
Hey, it seems to work out okay for Quagmire. He has a good job, a ton of friends, and still continues to hook up with women. Maybe people should really be checking their neighborhood offender lists, but there is that second option.
Mother, father, I decided to have myself chemically castrated.
I know Chris's voice is based on Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs, but now it's really noticeable. This guy definitely has a basement hole that he lowers lotion into.
It puts the off-brand lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
A girl at Bath & Body Works once told me the same thing.
I know you think chemical castration is gonna solve your problems, but you have to stop taking those pills.
Yeah, even if he's not thinking about anything bad anymore, the whole vibe from him seems infinitely worse. But he does make use of his extra attention.
I have managed to redirect that energy into my studies. In fact, today I received the Kaplan Prize in biology.
See what he can accomplish now that his hands are free? Or
Bruh.
at least his dominant hand. Unless he alternates? And now I've officially thought way too much about what Chris does in his room.
Not thinking about sex all the time seems to have allowed Chris to excel in other areas.
Like tutoring other kids. Did I walk into the Twilight Zone? Chris is teaching other people? Dang, if this is the result, maybe half of Quahog could benefit from some chemical castration.
I had no idea you were such an amazing tutor.
So Chris is actually able to make amends with the girl he sent that picture to, sealing the deal with a nice friendly pat on the... He's back.
What's happening?
I don't know. Someone get me nude art books. I need nude art books.
And so Chris is back to being his old, inappropriate self. Hopefully he's learned a lesson from this whole ordeal.
I guess chemical castration isn't for everyone.
Sure, let's go with that, I guess. But what is for everyone is the Sweaty Clam channel, which